All right. Thank you all for this allocated time, as we would like to share a high-level overview of the Rochester Parents Association and ask for your partnership. Over the last few years, many RSD families have felt a little disconnected to the Board of Education and the district. The Parent Advisory Committee was disbanded. Special interest committees were not meeting or were not accessible to the public. Therefore, there has not been any open forum exchange to approximately, except for approximately a few online thought exchanges and surveys since 2020, which is not an open forum exchange. As you know, our district is facing a lot of challenges, from decreased IAR and SAT scores detailed on the Illinois report card, in which Rochester School District has fallen below par to other area school districts. Our achievement gap has widened for IEPs despite increased referral and interventions and the associated interventionists that are also behind. Staffing concerns from transportation to outside of their field teachers, which is at least at a higher rate than our state's average. We have lost so many amazing and experienced teachers as well as staff over the last few years to our other districts. Reduced support for nursing and support staff and associated staff ratios, despite increasing the number of students at our elementary schools. How can one nurse cover the needs for nearly 1,000 kids under the age of 10? Medical emergencies without appropriate staffing are becoming more common at RSD, but we're thankful for the current staff and lucky that RN was available at the EC1 building at the time of a recent event. The challenges that the district faces needs a large facelift. But instead of throwing money at it to be fixed, why don't we all just come together and use the valuable resources in this community that we already have? And why not now? Families came together, grieved together, discussed and innovated together, and the Rochester Parents Association was formed. We created parallel BOE-like special interest committees of subject matter experts or interested individuals who are volunteering their time to addressing the district deficits and improve outcomes to our children and RSD staff. We hope to bring potential solutions to the Board of Education for evidence-based decision-making. It has been requested several times in the last few weeks to encourage an avenue for an open forum for outside groups, such as the RPA or any other group in the district, to provide suggestions or evidence-based recommendations with district decision-making bodies. We are aware that the Gen Ed committee is forming. We are aware that there's a subcommittee called PI, which has not quite defined its purpose yet, but both of those committees are a small group of individuals, some selected at random, that does not promote equitable reach to family and groups that need a pathway for productive conversations. Your community wants to be heard, and the RPA would love to be a resource for the Board of Education to provide solutions to the district challenges with evidence-based practices or even allow room for innovation. We have a whole generation of kids that are statistically behind, and Rochester students are lagging against their peers based on this top-down approach that has been implemented for years. Our district and our community needs to come together to address these issues at a faster rate. Our teams have been researching several topics for best practice solutions, as well as ready to provide recommendations to the district to utilize for informed decisions. This approach allows for open forum opportunity outside of the standing Board of Education district meetings. Ideally, we want to partner and resource to you all in the district and their families. And this approach will allow the district to promote inclusive and equitable outcomes that serve all students and families, allow broad support for those hard decisions that you all have to make, improve community and district relations, encourage innovation, and welcome those diverse perspectives and solutions endorsed by subject matter experts in the community, and control your attendance, and many more. We are hopeful that the Board of Education will consider and implement a positive and productive pathway for outside voices to improve district outcomes. And this bottom-up approach does not cost a thing to this district, and we're all in this together. Let's be the change. Let's flip the switch. One community, endless possibilities. Thank you.
Okay. The next one will be Amelia Cheek in regards to Illinois Assessment of Readiness data.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. My name is Amelia Cheek. I have 2 children here in this district. I'm here as a concerned parent and would like to partner to find solutions. We handed out some slides earlier, so I'm going to refer to the specific data in the slides. The data on the slides does not reflect or correlate to teachers or staff, but appears to coincide with the timing of the current administration. The consistent messaging of academic excellence is not supported by the ISBE data. We moved to Rochester School District looking for a solid education and foundation for our children, including a good balance of activities. While I appreciate the athletic opportunities offered, I don't anticipate my children's livelihood will be as a result of their athletic ability, but their mental ability. Their education is of the utmost importance. I draw your attention to slide 4 in the RPA presentation. Data is pulled from the ISBA's website. These are the same schools compared side by side, 2019 to 2024. What do you notice about Rochester fifth graders' English and language arts scores in 2023, 2024? While in 2019, Rochester's fifth graders were on pace with neighboring schools, I encourage you to look closely at the results in 2014 metrics. Metrics are down 14.2% from 2019 to 2024. COVID impacted all school districts, so we were not isolated on the impacts. However, we fell significantly behind. What is happening to Rochester School District's academic rigor and success? Next slide, please. More data, more issues. This is a side-by-side comparison of fifth grade math scores. Look at Rochester intermediate scores in 2019 and then in 2024. In 2019, 50.6% are meeting or exceeding performance levels. In 2024, we are down to 29.4% of fifth graders, a decrease of 21.2%. This data should be concerning to every parent who has a child in Rochester schools. Slide 6. So we've looked at the fifth grade comparing 2019 data to 2024 math and ELA data. How about overall performance for the school district repeatedly touted as excellent? Slide 6 data comparing Rochester high schools to other area schools. 65.9% of Rochester school students are approaching or partially meeting ELA performance levels. So as they're ranked, Williamsville is first, Glenwood High School is second, Pleasant Plains is third, Springfield High School is fourth, and Rochester is fifth, the lowest of the 5 schools I looked at. How about math scores for 2023, 2024? Again, similar statistics. Glenwood High School is first, Pleasant Plains is second, Springfield High is third, Williamsville is fourth, Rochester High, again, the lowest. Slide 8, trend for SAT scores. Again, similar numbers. You can all look at the graphs. And there's extra copies outside if anybody wants to see a copy. So 15.1% reduction in children meeting or exceeding their performance goals since 2017. Is that one of my children? Is that one of your children? While we all understand this is a snapshot in time, this is our neighbor's snapshot in time too, and ours does not look good. Math scores show a similar decrease, although it's more significant. So I'm here, I would like to partner for improvements. How can we help? We also want to ask questions. What are the underlying issues here? We collectively need to understand and identify the issues and work towards resolve. Speaking of excellence and showing excellence are two different things. This data is concerning. Again, this is not a reflection on the teachers or the staff, as they were consistently asking for support from this administration. I look forward to learning more about how the academic regression is going to be addressed. I fear it is too late for my 8th grader. That is really upsetting to me. I hope the board will work with the RPA and other organizations in the community, as well as work with and support the teachers and faculty. It is also my hope that this data is factored into the decisions being made by the board about the future of this district. Let's not continue down this path. I hope the RPA can encourage more accountability for the board and increase data transparency for the district. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next up on the list is Wendy Ham. If I'm saying that correctly?
Bad writing, Herman.
Harmon, sorry.
I never
Harmon.
was excelled for my penmanship. It's Wendy Harmon. I'm the
Wendy.
school social worker for the EC1 building, in case you don't know me. So I am coming here tonight, along with several of my staff from the EC1 building, basically just to give a huge shout out and some accolades to our school nurse, Marisa Busboom. Because of medical knowledge, as you know, is very protected. It's very private information. A lot of you probably don't even know the extraordinary work that she does in our building. She covers 2 buildings, but 1 campus. She's in charge of taking care of, monitoring, maintaining the medical needs of kids that range from the itty bitties, the age 3, clear up to age 9. Not only are they itty bitty, but they are the kids who cannot communicate for themselves, can't advocate, can't tell us what their medical needs are, and there's a lot of guesswork in that. We have a total of 652 kids on our combined campus, and we sit as the second largest building with one nurse to cover all of that. In spite of all that, Marisa has been able to successfully accomplish her daily demands, splitting her time between the two buildings, often literally running back and forth between the two, trying to meet all the medical needs. She's very knowledgeable, she's precise, she's professional, she's very empathetic. She has spent numerous hours training all the non-medical staff to become the emergency response team. She trains us on what to do in any case of emergency. She'll give us very specific rundowns that we have to run through on the event of something might happen. So she's spent a lot of time doing that. She'll take the time for discussions with staff on medical issues, whether it's themselves, whether it's their students. And she works very closely with the admin to design plans so we can be prepared for almost anything that is thrown at us. As a result, our ERT team, many who are here, have turned into a very well-oiled machine that's due to her experience and her leadership. Now, as educators, we also tend to be very strong advocates, which brings my second reason for why we're here. Acknowledging all of the duties, or just some of the duties here, I feel we would be doing a very disservice or injustice to Marisa and to the students in our building if we didn't mention that there seems to be a critical need for better coverage for nursing services on our campus. We have been so lucky so far that when we've had a life-threatening illness or situation, Marisa has been in our building. We are so scared about what would happen if she were in another building, and it took time for her to come there, or for the ambulance to get there first. We just don't know what would happen. So we've been very lucky. In my time here, I've seen at least 2 life-threatening illnesses where I feel like it would have been completely different if she'd been in another building. So it is our hope that the board has a plan of discussion of what to do, how to reallocate resources as we move forward. Given that, I'd like to thank you for the time of letting us accolade our beloved nurse, who's also a colleague, a friend, and has much needed earned this recognition. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next up on the list is Lindsay Tasker. Oh, okay, all right. And Sarah Curley, would you like to speak? Okay, all right. Anybody else that didn't sign up, would you like to jump in? Okay. All right. So we are moving on to the approval of the consent agenda. We do want to acknowledge that the Board of Education accepts with thanks a monetary donation from Martin Engineering and 2A's Technologies for the STEM Fair. So just wanted to tell them thank you and acknowledge that. Are there any discussion items for the consent agenda? Anyone? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Carly,
Yes.
Mr. Bailey,
Yes.
Dr. Graff,
Yes.
Mr. Childs,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah,
Yes.
Mrs. Nelson.
Yes.
Moving on to financial reports, Mrs. Keller, can you give us an update since
Sure.
Mr. Kaler cannot be here tonight?
Absolutely. So on the agenda this evening, we have approval of bills, payroll, and treasurer's report. With that, you were provided with the bills. And so I didn't know if anyone had any specific questions related to those.
The only question I had, and I think we can maybe circle back with Dr. Kaler,
Sure.
is there seemed to be a bunch of extra forms in there. So I'm like, I was looking through it and trying to decipher what forms were what.
Sure.
So maybe if he could give us, condense that back down.
Okay.
I'm assuming it was just like a print all worksheets.
Sure.
And so there was a bunch of blank.
Yeah,
ones in there.
some look like they were from 2023 and
Yeah.
I
so.
I
So
will
if he
definitely.
could give us a concise report when he's able.
Sure.
And when he gets back in the office, I think that would be great.
Absolutely. Yes, so I will follow up with Dr. Kaler about that.
I did get the cash flow analysis column filled in though, so.
Okay, that's what I was gonna point out.
It's in there. I saw it.
So yes, so in the year-to-date fund summary, that was one of the items I wanted to make sure to point out is
Right.
that one of the requests that had been made during the month of January was to add that information that Dr. Graff is referencing. So please know that is laid out in the report that you received this
Mhm.
evening.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Is there a motion to approve the bills as presented?
I'll make it.
Okay. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes. Okay. Moving on to our administrator reports. We've got several people in and out from the administrator, so I'll let Mrs. Keller kind of run through the people that can't be here tonight, and then we'll have a couple people that are here tonight give us some updates.
Sure. So do you want, I got it. Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, you're so sweet.
So easy one, January went long but short. We did our 100th day celebration. If you got a chance to check out our social medias, it was amazing. We had two 100-year-olds join us, which I hope we can continue that tradition because it's been really awesome. And then we incentivized the kids with lunchroom behavior, which you all know, lunchroom can get a little hectic. So we developed an incentive where they earned a gold point in whatever class got the most. By the time the 100th day celebration, they got to pie me in the face. They loved it. And then we're excited, we're gonna be kicking off a couple different reading challenges and sight word challenges in March. Last year I kissed the pig, and this year I'm gonna kiss a cow. A little baby one. And so we're gonna be kicking that off soon. And then I did attach the AIMSWeb data. Our AIMSWeb data is looking great. We've had some really good tier transitions between our kindergarten and our first.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Okay, so the next report I want to share this evening is for the 2-3 building from Mr. Kreppel. With that being said, he had outlined that they have also had some very successful celebrations with students over the past month. One of those being the bingo night that the PTO hosted and the Blizzard Blasts, which he indicated were a great deal of fun. It was great to reward the students for their hard work in completing their challenge to read 50 books or chapters throughout the months of December and January. In addition to that, they've had several students who've been able to participate in various experiences around the school as a result of the PTO fundraiser. And so far, they've had a principal of the day, teacher assistant lunches with teachers, and a trading card night, to name a few. And finally, I wanted to point out, they are preparing for the Illinois Assessment of Readiness testing during the week of March 3rd. So that is on the horizon. So families know to be looking for that communication as it comes out. And then the next building I wanted to make sure to share with about this evening is the Rochester High School. I was fortunate enough to attend their first in our school event that we had several staff members participate in presenting about the topic of vaping. It was a very powerful presentation. In addition to that, they also did that presentation with students. Again, so important. And they have other in our school events that will be coming up. So please be looking for those as well. In addition to that, I wanted to highlight from the report that Kurt
So with that, we just got our most recent MAP scores back. Starting the first year. So you're gonna be talking about RIT. Okay, RIT's the scale that MAP uses to compare scores across grade level. And then, so basically we're seeing what our measure and comparing our growth is over the years. And it can start off, I think, seventh grade is the first year we take, or sixth grade, but here, hold on for me here. So students who grew by, we did 4 RIT score, 4 points was our goal for the kids. If they made it over 4, they got a donut. So they work hard for food, we know this, right? So in 7th grade, students who grew by 4 in ELA, we had 75 students, or 51% of the class grew by 4 points. 8th grade, 66 kids went, so it's 48% of the class. 4 RIT points in math. In 7th grade, we had 76, which was 52, and 8th grade was 84, which is 57%. All right, those numbers, they're okay, right? They sound like, yeah, we got half the classes are moving. But when you put it all together and to see where we went, how many kids went 4 RIT scores, in 7th grade, we had 109, or 75% of the class grew by 4 points. In 8th grade, we had 116, or 80%. So 78% of our school grew by 4 points in our MAP scores, which we're excited because they're coming to school and they want to be there and they're excited to be there. And we're kicking off IAR testing that same week, that first week. So we're excited to see how we do on those scores and see those that keep climbing. With that, remember we talked about kids coming to school. We had our Valentine's Day dance on Valentine's Day of a 3-day weekend, so take that in mind. But we had 210 kids in the dance. 75% of our school was at the dance. So I think that's something that culture of belonging, and our kids wanting to be there. They didn't really dance all that much, but hey, it was and then I'd like just to point out our 7th grade boys basketball did make the sectional basketball game for us, and they represented us great. So there's a lot of great things going on at the junior high, and we're excited to see those IAR scores, and then we'll talk about those next fall. So thank you.
Hey, Mrs. Sutton.
Before I talk about RIS, I just want to share a little bit about the junior high score points. So that 4 points that they're growing, that's huge. When the typical is 3 or 2 for some students, that is huge. I just want to make sure that I add just how important that is, that the students are doing that, and that's so high. At RIS, we have some exciting things happening. Last week, we were able to celebrate Kindness Week. Our students had some themed dress-up days, but in addition to that, our student council filled cover, and the student council was working on the money that they raised from that to donate to the pet doctor around the corner. So that was super awesome that our kids were able to one day I had a student who had that were walking away with something. Some additional things that are happening. We are kicked off the FIN mission, or the Kids Product Challenge with the American Heart Association. To date, so far, we raised $2,188. 24 students have signed up. I know there's more than that. That's just a few days ago. But 10 families have also learned CPR basics. So it's not just about raising money for kids in the Heart Association, but it's also about learning some of those basics to help them back in our communities as well. And then we have 6, I think more than that now, 8 students that have completed FIN Challenge, which is some additional things to help support that cause. We also have IR coming up. We will be testing at RIS the week of March 10th. So look for some and it's not in our report, but we want to celebrate our students that participated in the spelling bee today. Not just the students that participated in fun, they've